The next time you're making a sandwich, pay attention to this, because slicing one raw onion can change the speed of your blood in under 30 minutes. Not eventually, not over weeks, in minutes. Most people your age, your parents' age, even your grandparents' age, eat onions almost every single day and have no idea this is happening inside them. It's one of the most common foods on the planet and one of the most misunderstood. Think about your last meal with onions in it. Maybe it was on a burger. Maybe it was raw on top of a salad. Maybe you just chopped one into a sauce without even tasting it directly. You probably didn't think twice about it. Onions are just there. Background noise on a plate, a garnish, something you push to the side if you don't like the crunch. Nobody treats them like something powerful, and that's exactly the problem. We've been trained to think that the most powerful foods have to look dramatic or taste exotic or come in a supplement bottle with a label full of promises and a price tag to match. Meanwhile, one of the most active compounds you can put in your body is sitting in almost every kitchen, completely ignored, selling for less than $1. Think about how much money gets spent every year on heart health supplements, pills promising better circulation, powders promising to support your cardiovascular system, and most of them contain in some processed and expensive form compounds your body could get from a vegetable you already own. Here's what almost nobody knows. Inside that onion is a compound called quercetin, and quercetin does something very specific to the inner lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium. Your endothelium is a thin layer of cells that controls how wide or narrow your blood vessels are at any given moment. It's not just a passive tube, it's active tissue, constantly making decisions about how your blood should move. When quercetin reaches those cells, it triggers them to release more nitric oxide, and nitric oxide is the signal that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that dietary quercetin measurably improved vascular function by increasing nitric oxide availability in the body. That's not a guess. That's documented, peer-reviewed, and repeated across multiple research groups looking at the same mechanism. This matters more than most people realize because your vascular function isn't something you feel directly day to day. You don't wake up and think my endothelium seems tight today. It works silently in the background for years until it doesn't. And by the time most people notice something is wrong, the underlying process has usually been building for a very long time. Picture a garden hose that's been pinched halfway shut. Water still comes out, but slower with more pressure behind it, straining the hose itself over time. Now picture someone releasing that pinch. The water flows freer, calmer, with less strain on the hose itself. That's what's happening in your arteries when quercetin does its job. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard to push blood through a system that's already relaxed and open. Have you ever felt sluggish after a meal, foggy, like your brain just isn't getting what it needs? Part of that might be exactly this. Blood vessels that are tighter than they should be, restricting flow to the places that need oxygen the most. If this is catching you off guard, the same way it caught me the first time I read the research, take 1 second hit, like on this video, and subscribe if you haven't yet. It's the easiest way to tell the algorithm that people actually want to know what's really happening inside their bodies instead of just being told to eat healthy without ever knowing why. Now here's the part that surprises people even more. Onions aren't just quercetin. When you cut into one, when the cell walls break open, sulfur compounds are released. These are the same compounds that make you cry while chopping. Your body treats them almost like an irritant at first contact, but those compounds also do something remarkable once they reach your bloodstream. They reduce how much your platelets clump together. We are talking about a reduction of up to 30% in platelet aggregation, according to a review looking specifically at allium vegetables and their cardiovascular effects, published in a peer-reviewed cardiology journal. Why does that matter? Because platelets are supposed to help you when you're bleeding. That's their job. Clump together, form a barrier, stop the damage. But too much clumping when you're not bleeding is what leads to blockages, to clots, to the kind of events that land people in emergency rooms with almost no warning. Your blood right now might be thicker and slower than it needs to be, not because of anything dramatic you did, just from years of eating in a way that never once asked whether your blood vessels were being supported or strained, and a raw onion in something sitting in your kitchen right now, something you probably have in a drawer or a bowl on the counter, can start to change that. Think about what your blood is actually responsible for. Every single cell in your body, from your brain to your fingertips, depends on blood reaching it on time, carrying oxygen and nutrients. When that flow is even slightly restricted, everything downstream feels it. Even if you can't point to exactly why you feel tired, or why your focus fades by the afternoon, or why your hands and feet always seem a little cold. So, what do you actually do with this information? First, eat onions raw, not cooked. Heat breaks down both the quercetin and the sulfur compounds. If you only ever eat onions sought and seed into a dish, cook down until they're soft and sweet. You're losing most of the benefit before it ever reaches your blood. Add raw onion to salads, sandwiches, or as a topping, after cooking is already done, not during. Second, choose red or yellow onions over white ones. The deeper the color, the higher the quercetin content. That's not tradition. That's not a chef's preference. That's chemistry. Darker skin means more protective plant compounds packed inside. When you're standing in the produce aisle, look at the color the same way you'd look at a nutrition label. Third, pair your onions with a small amount of healthy fat. Quercetin is fat-soluble, which means your body absorbs significantly more of it when it's eaten alongside something like olive oil. A raw onion salad with tomatoes, a little olive oil, maybe some lemon, isn't just a recipe. It's a delivery system built to get more of that compound into your bloodstream, where it can actually do its job. And there's a fourth thing worth knowing, even if it's smaller. Let your chopped onion sit for about 10 minutes before you eat or cook it. That short window gives an enzyme inside the onion time to fully activate the sulfur compounds we talked about earlier. Cut it, let it rest, then eat it. 10 minutes is all it takes for the chemistry to finish its work. You're not someone who just eats onions because they taste good anymore. You're someone who understands what's happening at a cellular level every single time you do. That shift in perspective, small as it sounds, changes how you shop, how you cook, and how you think about the food already sitting in your kitchen. So think about this. The next time you're standing in the produce section, staring at a pile of onions that all look basically the same, are you going to reach for the same one you always grab out of habit, or the one your blood actually needs? This is just the surface. There's another everyday ingredient sitting in your kitchen right now, doing something to your body you've never been told about, and we're about to expose exactly what it is.